Oh man, well we all picked fantastic games for
We
this week.
did because
And this is the first
we all
time
picked
in the
divisional
Bob and
games.
Bo show history we all picked fantastic games. And I hope you all were watching because I definitely was. The Seahawks and 49ers game. I told you, watch out for the Seahawks. Not only are they just a little bit sneaky here, but they always play the 49ers strong at home. And they walked away with a big win to get their season back on track. Geno Smith, with again, bottom three offensive line, comes out, has himself a pretty decent day. He had no touchdowns for passing. He did have one interception, but he kept his team ticking, moving in the right direction. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 110 yards off of 10 receptions. Fantastic day for him. DK Metcalf coming off of an injury, bye week, been out a couple weeks, had himself 7 for 70. So Geno Smith, with a bottom tier offensive line, is going out there and doing work. Kenny Walker had himself a touchdown. Not a great day on the ground, but the defense for the Seattle Seahawks was doing it all, doing it all. They had, I'm trying to find sacks here. They only had 2 sacks, but the pressure on Brock Purdy was enough all day to keep that guy moving outside of the pocket, not being able to get the timing with his throws down correctly. And those DBs were everywhere. There were pass breakups happening left and right. And what was going wrong for the 49ers? Everything. Brock Purdy mid QB. We've said it before, we'll continue to say it. 159 yards, yeah, not very good. Quarterback rating, 78. Passer rating, 85. Not very good. Christian McCaffrey held to a measly 79 yards after being held out for a majority of the season so far. Didn't have that great pass catching either. Juwan Jennings is leading that team. Who'd have thought? Because Debo Samuel can't get it done either. I mean, the 49ers were an absolute walking nightmare. They did only hold the Seahawks to 20 points, but they really could not get off the field all day long, especially with how bad that offensive line is. I've said it a few times. I'll continue to say it for the rest of the season. The Seahawks shouldn't be sniffing anywhere close to 500 because of how bad that O line is. And they just continue to churn out production because Geno Smith is actually a pretty decent quarterback. And Kenny Walker is a freak.
Yes, he is. He is nuts. He does. Kenny Walker does shit that only like wide receivers can do, like gadgety slot wide receivers can do, and like he's insane. Another thing though too, I think that is the George Kittle effect right there. He was out, I believe, this week, and they did not do very well.
A
And I think
shocker.
he's a
George
huge
Kittle is
key.
out. Whoa,
He's a
like I
huge
didn't
key.
see that coming from a mile away. The guy's never healthy.
Yeah, because he's got to do a lot for him. He's
Or
playing a tough
he's
position.
just or he's just a big old sissy.
I don't think there's a lot of big old sissies in the NFL, man. Come on. I don't know. Great
I,
game
I
though. I mean, you summed it up though. It was a fucking fantastic game. The Niners just keep blowing close games. There's a lot of Niners fan. I shouldn't say a lot. I've seen on the internet Niners fans, past some of them calling for Shanahan's head. How do we feel about that? Saying he's not that good of a coach if he doesn't have the perfect fucking setup to get him places.
Fine by me if I mean, hey, you want to fire him, and then when Andy Reid decides to retire, you bring him over to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'd be pretty happy with that. Kyle Shanahan's a fantastic. He's a very good. He's a fantastic play caller. I think he's a pretty good head coach, and he's just had a lot of difficulties there in San Francisco, injury after injury. I've
A
talked about this
curse.
before. You go to the Super Bowl and then you have 3 bad seasons because nobody can stay healthy. What happens? You get Brandon Ayuk tears ACL.
Hmm.
You get Christian McCaffrey has this freak Achilles tendon issue and he can't be healthy for half a season. You've got your quarterback got injured 2 years ago before they made it to the Super Bowl. Like there's just some sort of curse going on in San Francisco, and it's not like they're in a weak division either. Every single team there is 500 or above, and it's usually consistently that way, unless the Arizona Cardinals also are dealing with injury issues, which they
That's
have
fair.
in the
Yeah.
past. Outside of that, like the Seahawks are always a decent to good team. The Rams have been a decent to good team
Well, they
since
play
they've
each other tough. They always play each other tough.
it's a difficult division, and those are just some of the things that you have to
Hmm.
worry about. I think he's a good coach, And should the 49ers fire him, he's going to go and make another team look amazing. He's going to land in a much better spot, and they are
Yeah.
going to rue the day that they got rid of Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I don't really think it's his fault. There's no way it's like entirely Kyle Shanahan. I think it's a slew of things, but yeah, I don't know. It's just tough. It's tough tough going for Niners fans, honestly. I don't know what it is though. There's
Good.
something
Bang
fundamentally
bang
wrong in
Manigang,
that building though.
baby.
Good.
There's something fundamentally wrong in that building though. Whatever it
I
is, they got
only
to figure
wish
out what it
bad
is and get
things
rid
for
of it.
the Niners.
I think it
So
was rage bait, but I did see a video that was calling for Kyle Shanahan's job.
it might have been rage bait, but I follow quite a few Niners fans, and they're not very happy because they've just blown a lot of really close games. There was like this. Did I send it to you guys? I saw a post today on Instagram, and it was like at least three leads that the Niners had in the fourth quarter that they've blown this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's something. It might be Brock Purdy. Is it the defense?
Is
Like I don't know. Like is it a combination of both? What you know?
I mean, it's a combination of a lot of things. You've got the defense hasn't been able to get off the field. They've been giving up a lot of like really small stuff that they shouldn't be. Brock Purdy
So that's bad
is
tackling.
not playing. He hasn't been playing up to snuff to what he's done over the last couple of seasons. They've got injury issues, so I mean, there's just a lot of things going on there. But I don't think I mean, we're sitting here talking about the 49ers and the things that they aren't doing. And I think the things that they aren't doing or the things that are happening to them are pretty obvious. There's not enough people talking about what's happening in Seattle and them overcoming how bad this offensive line is,
Yeah,
getting
their
away
record
from
doesn't
Pete
reflect
Carroll,
how good that team is at all.
getting away from Pete Carroll and still being a 500 or hopefully will be a better than 500 team. They definitely don't have a snowball's chance at making it to the Super Bowl with that offensive line. They're just not going to be able to protect Geno. But a lot of people have been disrespecting Geno. Even as a Seattle Seahawk, I've got some Seattle Seahawks friends that think Geno is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Like I don't think they're getting enough credit for what they're doing.
No, they're definitely having a pretty good year, but they're just middle of the pack. They're not going to be better than what their record is right now. They may be above 500 in the year, but they're not anything special.
They're just one of those teams that hasn't won those close games, so it's like, they can't really see them going super far. You know, if they had won a few of those close games earlier in the year, they record would look a little bit better, and we'd be like, oh, is this a team of destiny here? But no.
Well, I'm going to be honest. There's a small handful of teams that I would probably take over the Seahawks definitively in the playoffs. I don't think that list is extremely long, especially with the fact the way they've handled playing the Niners. But yeah, I don't really see them threatening like an NFC Championship or anything like that.